Hello everyone and welcome back to my Star Citizen channel. First of all, before we really get started today, I need to say a huge thank you. My last video got a massive response. There were so many positive comments and also quite a few negative ones. Most of the criticism was constructive, which I appreciate, but some of it honestly went below the belt. But I want to talk about that specifically in just a moment. I actually want to dive a bit into the psychology of Star Citizen players, or maybe just human nature in general. Why we see certain things and why we react the way we do. From my perspective, the last video was a big success. As you know, I don't make that many videos in English, but it seems to be resonating well with you guys, and yeah, the comments really motivated me, so I hope you will support this video as well. Please leave a like and maybe even share it with your friends to help me push this channel forward. And guys, I will just say it how it is. I have an opinion and I'm going to say it. That might not fit everyone, and that's totally okay. Then that's just how it is. I'm not trying to change your mind or force my opinion on you, but I believe we can still keep the conversation objective and constructive. As I said, we will get into that right now. I'm also going to reveal a bit about my own character and my motivation today, so definitely stay tuned and watch until the end. Imagine seeing a cafe table, it's green to you, blue to your friend, who is right. Most of us think I'm right, the other guy's lying or blind. That's naive realism. Our brain tricks us into believing our view is the only objective truth. In the Star Citizen community, it explodes. Why do players freak out over criticism or hype? Today I break it down psychologically, simply with examples from your comments. Naive realism creates two extremes, and it works both ways. The defenders, or white knights, only see potential. Example, economy issues. It's alpha, all placeholders. Their brain filters out bugs via confirmation bias, highlighting hope. Criticism feels like a personal attack. Conversely, the critics or haters only see failure. Ship sales like Clipper, overpriced for what it is. Or alpha, wolf weapons are pay to win. Pledge Store kills the economy. They zero in on aggressive monetization and prices like milking whales, ignoring the alpha status and future earnability. Their disappointment becomes the reality. Both camps think, I see clearly, you don't. The brain filters unconsciously. Then there is the sunk cost fallacy. You have sunk hundreds of euros or dollars, years of backing. The brain justifies it to avoid cognitive dissonance. Fans say it will be epic. Haters pay to win scam. Result, personal attacks instead of discussions. But here's one thing I want to confess and to admit. I'm not immune. As a creator, do I overhype patches or bash real money trades too quick? What I want to say is that I am in the same illusion like you. Reflect before commenting. Fact or ego. Understand this and comments lose their sting. As Nobel winner Daniel Kahneman says, we are blind to our own blindness. Only self-reflection opens our eyes. Let's discuss fairly, critique yes, but no hate. Guys, what I'm trying to say is that let's be more respectful to each other, and yeah, nobody is perfect, okay? And I have also my mistakes, okay? So please reflect before you comment. So let's get into it. And I think it's worth talking about before dive into the Star Citizen content. In my last video I talked about exploits and how they damage the game. That's exactly what triggered the criticism. People asked, how can you read an economy with exploits if there is no economy yet? They said, you don't balance the economy in alpha, that's done at the end. Some people even laughed at me for mentioning Star Citizen and economy in the same sentence. And I saw one comment that really stood out. Someone asked me, why do you care how much money other players have? Just mind your own business. And I want to answer that clearly. Personally, I don't care how much alpha UEC you have in your wallet. That's not the point. I care about the state of the game. I mention these things because I want Star Citizen to progress and get better. That is my only intention. But I will be honest with you, and you can criticize me for this if you want. Maybe I'm just a bit old school, but back in the day, seeing a rich player in an MMO was motivating for me. It made me think, wait, how did they do that? Is there a strategy I'm missing? It was a challenge. It pushed me to find better ways to play. It was healthy competition. Right now in Star Citizen, we don't really have that feeling because of the exploits. And yes, I know it's an alpha, I can't expect perfection yet, but my hope is that when we reach the final game, we will have that healthy competition back, where wealth comes from gameplay, not glitches. But here is where it gets interesting. The criticism I received assumes that I made up the economy argument, that I am somehow inventing reasons to criticize CIG. But what if I told you that CIG themselves use the word economy? What if the source of this argument isn't me, but Cloud Imperium Games directly? That's what we are going to look at today. Not my opinion, not speculation, just what CIG actually said in Star Citizen Live. And then you can decide for yourself what to think about it. Let's start with what happened this week in Star Citizen Live. CIG talked about ships, a lot of ships, and specifically about the Hull D and Hull E. And they announced something that upset a lot of players. The cargo capacity is being reduced significantly. The Hull E was originally designed with 98,304 SCU of cargo capacity. That was the biggest hauler in the game by far. And CIG announced this is going down to roughly 10,000 SCU. That's almost a 90% reduction. So why? Why reduce the capacity so drastically? CIG listed 3 main reasons for this change, but instead of me paraphrasing it, please see for yourself.
Hull D E Nerf owners, sit down, because this is going to sound like bad news, but it's right. It's the news.
You look right at your camera there. There you go.
This one.
Yep. Nope. Give him the John Crew camera.
Move out the way.
Give him the bad news camera.
Zoom in all the way. Your cargo capacity is going quite a long way down. So the D, and I've got my notes here, is going down to 6,912 SCU, which is a lot of SCU. And the E is going down to 12,288 SCU. So, gut reaction, that's a big drop from, I think, 98,000, and I can't remember what the D was.
Yeah.
But for years, people quite rightly said, this is going to be so boring. I don't want to sit and load 3,000 plus 32 SCU containers by hand, or even in an org. Yeah. Economy-wise, huge concerns. And then performance-wise, also huge concerns. So whilst they have on paper gone down by a big percentage, they are still
the top of the game.
Absolute top, and we have no plans currently to have any ships that get anywhere near those.
So there you have it, performance, gameplay and economy. These are the official factors driving this decision. Now, yes, I know what some of you will say. It's a concept sale. The page clearly states that everything is subject to change. And to be fair, we have to admit that the vision CIG had 10 years ago is likely very different from the reality of the game today. Development evolves, and ultimately what matters is that the final game works. We need a balanced ecosystem where the entire ship roster feels fair. If the old numbers would have broken the game or made every other hauler irrelevant, then yes, an adjustment was necessary for the health of the project. But, and here is the big but, here is what bothers me. It's not the change itself, it's how it was handled financially. When CIG buffs a ship, when they add features, when they increase cargo capacity, they raise the price. And that's logical, that makes sense, you're getting more value, so the price goes up. I understand that business decision. But when CIG nerfs a ship, when they reduce its capabilities by almost 90%, the price stays the same. There is no price reduction, there is no compensation. And it gets worse, the Hull D and Hull E were being sold just days ago during the IAE. CIG knew this nerf was coming, they had to know. Design decisions like this don't happen overnight. But they still sold these ships at full price without mentioning the upcoming changes. My suggestion would be this, CIG could offer a coupon to Hull D and Hull E owners, something they can use on their next ship purchase. A gesture of goodwill. Yes, refunds are possible for recent purchases, but if you bought your Hull E years ago and missed the refund window, you are out of luck. I'm not saying CIG is legally obliged to do anything, I'm saying it would be the right thing to do, or don't you think so? But hey, it's not all negative. There were some really positive announcements in Star Citizen Live that I want to highlight. CIG emphasized very strongly that they don't want to do concept sales anymore. Going forward, when they show a ship, it will already be in the game or very close to being in the game. No more selling promises for ships that are years away from completion. And this was actually confirmed at the last CitizenCon, if I'm not wrong. And I have to say, I really appreciate this direction. It's so much better when you can actually fly what you are buying, when you can see exactly what you are getting before you spend your money. The battlecruiser will be the last concept ship. After that, according to CIG, no more concept sales. Now, there is a small asterisk here. The Drake Clipper was released with a crafting station that you can't actually use yet because crafting isn't in the game. So in a way, that's still selling a feature that doesn't exist. And look, I just had to mention this. It was itching under my fingernails, so to speak. I'm not bringing this up to be negative or criticize just for the sake of it. It's just that when I watch these announcements, these are the details that pop into my head. And since we are having an honest conversation here, I simply want to share those unfiltered thoughts with you. So what I'm trying to say here is that CIG promised us in the past that they will only sell the ship if all these gameplay features are ready. But in case of the Clipper, the crafting station is not ready, but they sold it anyway. But to be fair, I think crafting is coming soon, maybe with patch 4.5 or early next year. It's not years away like some concept ships have been. Let's talk about what ships we can expect in the coming months. This is the exciting stuff. First, the battlecruiser. This is one of the last unfulfilled promises from CIG's original crowdfunding stretch goals. It came from the $17 million goal back in 2013. And CIG wants to be, and I say this with some irony, virtuous and keep their promise by finally releasing this ship. But let's be real here. Do we really believe they are doing this just out of the goodness of their hearts? If they didn't know for a fact that this ship would make them an incredible amount of money, we probably wouldn't be seeing it. It's not just about honoring a 12-year-old stretch goal, it's about the fact that a massive military capital ship is guaranteed to generate a huge revenue. What do we know about it? The original description said it would be heavily armored. Larger than a Javelin, but smaller than a Bengal or a Pegasus. Back then it was marked as the largest flyable ship, but that was then. Based on my research, I would place the battlecruiser in the hierarchy between the Javelin and the carriers like the Bengal or Pegasus. As for the manufacturer, there are hints in Star Citizen's lore pointing to Aegis Dynamics. They have historically been the main supplier of heavy military ships in the game. However, I could also very well imagine it being an Anvil aerospace ship. Anvil is known for armor and durability, which fits the description of the battlecruiser perfectly. But what do you think? Will it be a Team Aegis or Team Anvil, or maybe someone completely different? Let me know your theory in the comments. And we don't have to guess when we will see it. CIG confirmed in Star Citizen Live that this ship will be revealed in May during the Invictus launch week. It will be presented as a concept sale, and as they said, it is intended to be the very last concept sale ever. And speaking of next year, the RSI Galaxy should finally become playable. We will probably see it at the IAE at the latest. That's exciting for everyone who's been waiting for that ship. We also got some good news about ship buffs. The Ironclad is getting increased cargo capacity, and the Aurora is getting an MK2 version. Not just a gold standard rework, but an entirely new variant. The Polaris is getting an interior rework because the community compared it unfavorably to how good the Perseus interior is. CIG listened to that feedback, though I don't expect this rework to be happen immediately, probably sometime in 2026 or maybe even later. And with patch 4.5 we should be able to fire torpedoes from the Polaris bridge. 8 torpedoes at once. Now, some people say this is pointless because PDCs will just shot them down and torpedoes are expensive, but here is the thing, laser PDCs got a 50% damage nerf. So some torpedoes will get through and you only need 1 or 2 to do a serious damage. Though CIG did show the new ballistic PDCs that do more damage, so we will see how the balance plays out. I want to share an observation with you, and I'm curious if you have noticed the same thing. The number of new ships this year has been really high, like noticeably higher than previous years, and I want to be clear, this is not a complaint. I am actually happy about it. More variety means more choice, more interesting gameplay possibilities. But it does make me wonder, why this year specifically? Why are so many ships being released now? Is there a financial pressure? Did CIG need to boost revenue, or is the ship production pipeline just becoming more efficient? Maybe they are finally catching up on all those ships that were promised years ago. I don't have a definitive answer. It could be any of these reasons or all of them combined. What I do know is that it was overdue. Many of these ships should have been released a long time ago. So even if there is a financial pressure behind it, at least we are finally getting the ships. Let's come back to the economy argument, because this is the part that sparked so much debate on my last video. On one side we have CIG saying that the Hull E's capacity needed to be reduced for economic reasons. They are saying that 98,000 SU would negatively impact the economy. On the other side we have the reality of Star Citizen's current economic state. There are no dynamic trade routes. Cargo missions are manually triggered by CIG. There is no real supply and demand system. The economy, such as it is, barely functions. So here is the question I keep coming back to. How can you know that a specific cargo capacity will break an economy that doesn't fully exist yet? What data are they basing this on? What simulations have they run? I mean, just to be clear, I'm not saying we don't have an economy in Star Citizen. What I'm trying to say is that we don't have an economy that functions. And that's why most of the people say, are you kidding? Which economy are you talking about? But this is what CIG says. They say one of the reasons for the nerf of the Hull E is the economy. So yeah, CIG didn't provide any numbers, they didn't show us any projections. They gave us 3 words: performance, gameplay and economy. That's it. No explanation, no data, yeah, just buzzwords. And that's what frustrated me. Not the nerf itself, not even the decision. It's the lack of transparency. It's using economy as a justification without explaining what that actually means. In my opinion, the economy is not the reason why the Hull E and the Hull D got nerfed. I believe it has technical reasons. Do you guys remember one of the Inside Star Citizen videos where CIG explained us that they could not implement the salvage destruction process as they wanted because it had too much entities, which had a really big impact on the performance? I think this is also one of the reasons, maybe if not the reason, why we cannot have so much cargo units or boxes on a ship. It's because I guess it would take too much performance. And if I remember well, they even mentioned in this Inside Star Citizen video that they have reached the limit of the engine. So it means they really reached maybe a limitation. But again, as I said many times, I'm not a programmer, so maybe one of you guys who knows more than I do can maybe confirm me or not. So where does this leave us? I want to be very clear about something. I'm not telling you what to think. I am presenting the facts as I understand them and sharing my opinions where relevant. CIG said economy, that's documented, that happened, and when some of you in the comments told me that there is no economy in Star Citizen or that I was wrong to even mention economy, please understand that I was quoting basically CIG. They brought it up, not me. Maybe CIG has an internal data we don't know about. Maybe they are planning ahead of their quantum economic simulation. Maybe there are good reasons for this decision that they just haven't shared with us. I don't know. However, what I do know is that when a company makes changes that affect ships people have paid real money for, transparency matters. Performance, gameplay and economy without any supporting data leaves room for interpretation. And interpretation leads to disagreement, and disagreement can turn toxic very quickly, as we have seen. I'm not asking you to agree with me, I'm asking you to look at the facts. CIG said economy, and for me, the economy is in a rough state. The Hull E is getting significantly nerfed, prices aren't being reduced, and recent buyers got no warning. These are facts, and what you conclude from them is your decision. That's what I wanted to share with you today. We covered the Hull nerf and the economy argument, the price inconsistency, the end of the concept sales, the battlecruiser announcement and ships coming in 2026, and the Polaris updates. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, but please, let's keep it respectful. We can disagree without attacking each other. We are all part of the same community here. If you found this video valuable, please leave a like. It really helps with the algorithm. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for your watching, thanks for your support, and I will see you in the verse.